Right. Today I want to show some progress of what we've been creating for the new custom build option. So to be able to custom build a room, we're trying to make it fairly simple to use but also pretty practical. So kind of trying to include the functions and objects and things that you would need to create a variety of different types of rooms and all that. We've been working on it for a while. Unfortunately, it's a little more complicated and complex than you could imagine or you might imagine. So taking a little bit of time, but we're getting there and we're kind of fixing things as we go. But I wanted to show anyone this video that in case you have any feedback or ideas, especially ideas and feedback on how it works and that sort of thing. And I'll kind of explain it as I'm going through and what we're still thinking about adding and changing to it as well. So I would say it's definitely more than 50% done, but there's a lot to add to it as well, and some stuff to change as well, which you'll see. So still a work in progress. Just keep that in mind. So I have just a blank scene right here, and I'm going to click the build button here. And since there's nothing in here, it's going to ask me if I want to add a basic rectangular room or start by drawing out a custom walls and lines. So the basic rectangular room is what we've had before, which is just allows you to create like a basic rectangular room. This new option, this custom room option, is going to allow us to do some more stuff. So what it's going to ask now is if I want to add a floor plan to draw on top of. So if I click no, then it'll just allow me to draw basically some walls, and it'll show the measurements. So you can kind of do that freehand if you want. But I think in a lot of situations you might have a floor plan that you want to draw on top of. So basically you'll be drawing 3D walls on top of the floor plan. So I'm going to click yes here. And then it's going to ask if what the resolution is of the image that I want to put on here. And so I have an image and it is 1050 by 689 pixels. So 1050 by 689. And what this does is it just gets the right aspect ratio of the image that you're going to use, so that it makes sure that it's in the correct scale. And then it just wants to know what the width of the room is. So you're going to give it the measurement. In this case, the image that I'm going to use is the width of the wall. The width of the wide wall is 130 feet. So I'm going to hit enter now. And at this point, it's going to ask you to upload an image or the image that you want. So in this case, I have it already loaded over here. So I'm just going to add it here. And now you can see the image is loaded on here. 130 feet is this length right here. So even though the image is scaled correctly in the right aspect ratio, I just need to scale it up so that the wall right here fits this arrow here. And the reason for this is that there's a lot of white space in the image that I have, so I want to make sure that it fits correctly. So I'm going to scale it up like this, and it's looking pretty close, but I want to move the image as well, so I'm going to move it in the Y direction up here. And so now I can see that that's pretty close. I think I need to scale down just a little bit. And then I can move it over this way a tad. And maybe up a little bit. All right, and that's pretty close now. Close enough, I would say. So the one other thing that we're thinking about doing as well, so maybe an alternative option or just replacing this option would be that you would be able to upload an image and then just draw an arrow on one of the walls that you see here, and then basically it would prompt you to say what size is that wall. And so in this case, I would draw the wall on the image, and then I would say it's 130 feet, and then it would scale the whole thing correctly based off of that. We're playing around with both ideas, but this might be like one more step in the process, but it does give you a little bit of flexibility to make sure that it's kind of the exact right size here. All right, so I'm going to enter there, and now it's just going to say when you're ready, click ready. And then from here, it's just going to ask me to start drawing out the walls. It's going to say to start on the left side and start basically creating it going this way and around. At any point, I can use my right mouse button and drag around to kind of get a view of the whole room. So I might zoom in a little bit and start over here. I'm just going to click once for every point that I want on the room. So I might start in this corner and start there. And then I'm going to click here and kind of just do this all the way around. And it will snap to, I think it's every foot or 6 inches. So it'll keep your lines straight. And it also shows how long each line is. Cool. I'll probably speed through this in the video and then come back when it's all drawn out. Okay, so we've drawn out all the walls now, and I'll just take a look here. So basically I started here, went around, and just drew in the outline of the interior part of the room. Obviously this image has extra lines in it. You wouldn't draw those because you're just kind of trying to create the shell or the interior walls of the room. And so you can see basically in each one of these little alcoves, there's like doors right here. And yeah, so I got all the way around and then went to the final point here and clicked stop on this room here. All right, so from here you would probably go in and start adding doors maybe, or you can change the floor and wall textures and stuff like that as well. I'll show you that in a second. But so doors and windows and then decor and other stuff we can add later. But the way this works is that now you would just drag in whatever doors and stuff you want. So I might start again over here. I'm just going to drag this in. It's going to show me a little green highlight of where that's going to be placed. So I'm going to just drag them in here. Place them like this. If I zoom in a little bit, it's easier to see where these doors are. There's one here. Oops. Again, we're still working on some of this as it's a work in progress. All right, so you do the same thing and just kind of keep dragging your objects around and placing them like that. Let's do a couple more on this side just to show. Okay, and so you might do something like that all the way around. If your room has windows, you could always add some big windows in there like that. And we're adding more objects to this. This is kind of still for testing purposes, but decor, we would have a bunch of type like sconces and chandeliers and all sorts of stuff like that for you to add to the room. All right, so let's look at it from the orbit view and the actual 3D view. So it looks fairly basic right now, but you do have all the walls kind of drawn out there. If I wanted to as well, I could select all of these individual doors here. Let me see here. And I'm just going to change the color of them to like a brown maybe. So that's going to be an option as well. Again, you can place objects as well in the 3D view if you wanted to do it this way. Change the color of that maybe. I think this room that I'm trying to base this off of doesn't have windows though. All right, and then if I go into here, I can still change the ceiling type, and so we're going to add a lot more ceiling meshes to be able to create a lot of different looks like this, so that you can kind of have the versatility of that. And so we'll have some options there. I mean, for now, you can go in and change the color of the ceiling as well if you wanted to do that. And then I might go into the walls and adjust the wall look as well as the floors. So right now we just have these basic walls and floor options here. I might go in and change the color of these. And I can see now that there's an issue with that, but either way, so you could do something like that. And then we will have the option as well to kind of go into individual sections of walls and be able to sort of custom upload specific textures. So if you don't want to obviously use only these textures, you can add specific ones to make the room look even more like the room that you're looking to build. And so that's kind of the gist of it right now. You will be able to create multiple rooms as well, or multiple rooms as well. So if you want to, let's say, create this room and then you want some other breakout rooms or something like that over here, you could do that. So I might move this room over and then create some more rooms or something like that. You can always do that. And once your room's created, we kind of have it placed in the middle here so that it's in this sort of crosshair section, so that if you continue to use this build feature here, everything will show up kind of in the front of the room, if you will, here. So now when I add a stage, it's going to be kind of right there in the middle, as well as the backdrop's going to be right along that line, and then kind of everything's based off of that, so that I can easily, add objects into the room like this. Let's do that. We'll place some lights real quick just so you can see what this might look like. And maybe like 8. And I'll just add some truss real quick here. And maybe some moving lights as well. Do like 3 or 4. All right, that looks like they're in a little bit different area here. Let me see, move this truss down a bit. All right, so now I have this and I can turn the room lighting down and sort of get a better look. And then maybe I want to aim some of these lights real quick. I'm doing this fairly quick, so it's not going to look great, but hopefully you get the idea. And I might change the ceiling real quick to just get a different look here. All right, so there's that, and we can always go back and adjust some of the other materials too here. Cool, so now I have this room that has more of the actual shape that I want. And you could also go in and if you had like curved walls or something like that, or just some kind of other shape to your whole room, you can create sort of curved walls by creating a bunch of sort of sections, if you will, as well. So anyways, that's kind of the gist of it for now. I think it's probably pretty obvious at the moment that there's a good amount more to include with this, especially just the objects and being able to edit some of the elements of the room so that it can look, you know, more like the room that you're going to use. But yeah, hopefully this gives a good idea of what you could sort of do with it, and any, you know, feedback, ideas on different features and how it all works is definitely greatly appreciated. So yeah, let us know in any emails or comments or anything like that, and we'll definitely get to work on that. All right, I also just wanted to show really quickly how to do something completely different, since we were talking about custom rooms. I actually created this a while ago. I did spend a decent amount of time doing it, probably like a couple days, you know, a few hours a day. But I was trying to recreate a new office build, and so basically created this look and was able to get pretty close to what I needed. The room I ended up getting rebuilt looks pretty much identical to this. There were specific objects that I'm using, some IKEA stuff, and some different furniture and material like that. You can see this kind of room all around. So anyways, I just want to show an example of something that you could try doing as well. If it's not necessarily a typical larger room, maybe it's a smaller room, maybe it's a storefront. I've gotten questions about stuff like that before. So I could make a separate video about doing something like this. In it, I'm kind of just using images to create textures and stuff like this for this wall. And then just adjusting different items to be able to get some of this stuff to look the way I want it to. So, but yeah, you can do quite a lot of things. Some of this stuff, obviously, if it's not sort of templated, might take a little bit more time to get the way you need, but overall, definitely possible. So just want to show that example. If you have any questions on this, definitely let me know.